What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Ready to Love. This is season 10, episode 5, I believe. And y'all, we gotta get to this block party. So we start this episode off with all the singles. They are heading down to Tommy's block party. We actually see that at the top of this episode, Tay and Cisco, they have some type of tension, right? Well, Francisco has dropped a bomb on Tay, okay? Basically, they were on the phone having a conversation, and he was open and honest about the fact that, he's not really where you would think a man at his age should be. Okay, I'm going to word it that way, because he doesn't have his own place. It seems like he has a roommate, so he's like renting a room, and he doesn't have a car. Now, I've never been to Philly, okay? But is Philly like New York, where you really don't have to have a car because there's a lot of like foot traffic and like people are walking everywhere? Or is Philly a place like you have to have a car? Like, I'm from LA, so in LA, you have to have a car. Is Philly like that? I'm just curious. But basically, this man's finances are not right. So she's like, how am I supposed to date you when your money ain't right? And honestly, I feel a couple of ways about this whole situation, because I'm just kind of like, is this a situation where he thought that he would be more situated by the time filming started of the show? Or what? Like, I have a lot of questions, but we're going to come back to that, okay? Now, we also see Cisco, I think he was talking to Rocky and Coley. And basically, this man is talking about he on a struggle bus right now. He's on a struggle bus because he doesn't know where he stands with Tay. We actually see Tommy come out, and he brings his wife with him. Now, here's my only issue about him flaunting his wife in our face. Like, sir, let's put her to work. Like, no offense, but y'all remember that one season where he brought his wife on, and because they were together for so long, they allowed the cast members to ask them questions and stuff and ask her different stuff? I wish that they would have utilized her in that way as well. So if the ladies had, questions like, oh, do you have any advice or something, I feel like that could have given more to the show. But no, she was just out there to spin around in her little hot shorts and be Tommy's arm candy. We learned that the men have the power again. And I don't like that. I don't like when it doesn't go back and forth. Like, why are we doing this? Anyways, so we see the crew, the cast, they are all having a good time, dancing, checking out the vendors that are around at this block party. And we actually see Cam, and he's with Rose, right? Now, here's the thing. He's also into Sahara. Now, I feel like, to the eye, Sahara and Rose are two different people. Like, we would view them as, oh my gosh, they're polar opposites. Sahara, she's viewed as the little ghetto hood girl, while Rose, she carries some sophistication about herself. However, I do kind of see that there's a few similarities, because Rose, she talks about how she wants to cater to her man and do all these things for her man. And I feel like Sahara is that kind of girl. She just has a rougher edge. And yes, Sahara can be very loud. I've definitely noticed that. But I do think that Sahara may have a good heart. Same thing as Rose. As much as we try to make it seem like because a person is ghetto or they're a little hood or whatever word you want to call it, I just hate that we try to downplay that person on these types of shows to make it seem like they don't deserve love or they don't deserve a relationship. And the only type of woman that needs to get chosen by one of these dusty dudes is a woman who is, extremely educated, and she has to have her degrees and have her career and be bougie and all these things. And it's like, I'm sorry, the same way y'all accept these men at all these different levels, the women should be accepted at all these different levels. Okay? The same way Naeem is still here with 5 kids, I think we can tolerate Sahara being a little ghetto. I really do. Now, back to the story at hand, though. Cam and Rose, they are really flirting with each other. Okay? And it does seem like he really likes her. However, I still think that little religion thing is going to be tough on him. But moving on, we see Hussein. We learned that he has a whole child. Didn't know that before, but he has a 6-year-old son who does not live in the same state as him. His son actually lives in, I want to say, Indiana or Virginia. Wait, no, I think Cisco had the drama in Virginia. I think that Hussein's son must be in Indiana. And here's my question. How often do you see your child? That's my question. How often are you able to spend time with him? And then we have him talking to Angie, I forgot to mention. Because Angie is like, I want kids. I want to give my man as many kids as we can have. Keep in mind that she said that, y'all. Keep in mind. Moving on from there, we see Rocky and Naeem. Y'all, come get Rocky. Come get her now. Because she starts to read off some sexual spoken word. First of all, I want people to realize poetry ain't what it used to be, okay? People used to love them some spoken word in like the early 2000s and 90s, that whole little movement and era. Nowadays, if a person brings out the poetry, send them home now. First of all, it never works. It never works when people come on this show and they start reading off their poetry. Nobody wants to hear it. Then, the type of poetry that Rocky was spewing, I said, ma'am, put the phone down. Put the phone down. Don't read no more. This is not what we signed up for. This is not what we signed up for. This is not what Naeem signed up for. That man was not interested. At this point, he feels like everything is surface with her, and baby girl has been friend zoned. Now, here's my thing again. How I keep saying that Sahara and Rocky, similar, okay? Practically the same person. Yet, for some reason, I feel like the guys were going so hard on Sahara because she hood, she ghetto. Those are the terms, you know what I mean, that people usually consider for that type of personality. However, for some reason, Rocky's just kind of skating by. However, I don't think she's going to be skating much longer, especially after reading that. Now, moving on from there, we have Eddie and Deanna, right? They finally talk. I'm like, yo, this man has been all up in Angie face, all up in Coley face. Where is Deanna? So they finally talk. However, the conversation was kind of Like, they basically just talked about what type of partners that they wanted. And they realized that what he wants is what she wants. And that's cool and all, but I wanted it to go a little bit deeper. Now, we did see Jay and Kiera boot up. They act like they go together. They really do. They act like they go together. But I don't see them having deep conversations either. They flirt with each other, but nothing ever gets too deep. But honestly, I'm not even mad at that because it's still kind of early in the process. Now, moving on, we see Cisco. Baby, he going through it, okay? Because he confides in Naeem about what happened with Tay. And now he basically feels like there's this disconnect between them because I don't know what she said, okay? I don't know what she said to him on that phone. However, it's giving, she basically told him that, like, listen, I'm gonna have to think about it. I'm gonna have to really weigh out my options to see if I really want to try to pursue something with you, considering you are not financially set where I need you to be. Okay? Now, according to him, his mama ain't really rocking with him, so that's why he had to rent a room. He says that, he was homeless when he was in another state after his past relationship. I'm not really sure if that was the divorce or just, a girlfriend type situation. But the boy been going through it, okay? So at this point, I do feel like he is trying to build himself up. He is. However, it is very hard for a man to be in his 40s at this point and basically say that you're trying to rebuild yourself, yet at the same time you're looking for companionship, especially for a woman who has her stuff together. Buddy, you have to bring a lot more to the table, because if she's already set and she's already like taken care of by herself, it's like, what are you here for? Like, and it's not always all financial, but you do need to know that, hey, if things were to happen, like, I can fall back on you. If y'all can't fall back on each other, baby, that's a problem. And what's crazier is that while this man is talking to Naeem, he basically tells him that, he's about ready to check out, okay? He's about ready to check out of this process. And here's the thing. I wouldn't mind if he did. And this is no offense, but maybe you aren't ready for this round of Philly. Because usually, y'all know that when they go to a new city, they do it twice. Okay? They always hit the same city twice. Maybe, Cisco, you should have been on the second round of Philly once you got your stuff together. Okay? Now, also, did y'all notice that some people's job titles have changed? Because I noticed that his thing said, what was it? Diversionary liaison. I said, now what is that? Y'all, did y'all notice that? If you know what that is, please tell me in the comment section, because your girl was confused. One thing about this conversation, though, that I want to talk about is that I appreciate the way Naeem was speaking words of encouragement into Cisco. Like, maybe right now you kind of having a hard time, but, it's a lot of weight on you. But there's people who's going to hear your story and, it'll all be worth it in the end. I do appreciate that. I feel like maybe they can form a brotherhood. Hell, if we really want to be technical, maybe this could be an opportunity for Cisco. I'm just throwing this out here because he was an amateur bodybuilder, I believe. So he loves to work out. Naeem has a gym. Maybe he can be a trainer, at the gym or something. And that way, hey, he got a little extra money coming in. Maybe he can move out of his shared apartment and get his own apartment. I'm just trying to toss some ideas out here. Maybe the guys can lean on each other. Okay? Let's go ahead and move on, though. So we see Jay, and he's talking to Sahara. Now, in this moment when they were talking to each other and like laughing and all this stuff, one thing that I noticed is that I feel like, yes, the guys be like laughing with Sahara, joking with her. Now, for her, it seems like they're flirting with her. However, for them, I think is that, oh, that's just my homegirl. But they're not exactly making that clear, because please know, we have seen people on this show on previous seasons who were like, we are compatible, but that's my homie. And we look out for each other. You know what I mean? We've seen that happen before. I don't know what's happening with Sahara and these guys, though. But if we really want to be honest, like for real, I can actually see Jay and Sahara being a thing. But he over here chasing after the Kiaras. And I'm just going to leave that right there. Now, here's the thing. Cam, he's peeping that Jay and Sahara out here all giggly and laughing, and he like, she laughing a little too loud over there. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, well, Cam, you over here peeping. Well, maybe you need to go talk to Sahara. But oh, my bad, you have Rose sitting right next to you. So at this point, I realized that Cam is going to be conflicted, okay? Cam is going to be conflicted because Rose is everything that a guy would want. And what I mean by that is she's beautiful, she's demure, she's very classy, she brings sophistication, and you know what I'm saying? She just carries herself in a certain way that is more palatable for people to accept. However, you have Sahara, who he realizes that he actually likes. It seems to me that even though she's considered so hood, so ghetto, that's number one, something that he like about her. Number two, she's being real, she's being authentic. Who you see is who you get. She's honest. I feel like Sahara still has a lot of qualities that he likes. And if we want to be honest, with her over here trying to put spells on people, I feel like that's more aligned with him being agnostic or atheist, whichever one he is. I guess that's agnostic because I guess he don't know. But I feel like that's more aligned than him trying to date Rose when she's clearly a believer of the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm just saying. Now, back to Cam, though, I did laugh when the producers asked him, was he jealous? And he's like, no, I'm not jealous. I'm just, taking notes of things. And it's like, dude, you was jealous. Like, at some point, I wanted to see him interact with Sahara more, just so that we can kind of see how they are with each other a little bit more, instead of it only being at elimination. But that's not what we got. Moving on from there, we see Fritz. He's having a conversation with Shanice. It annoys me that he always called her Shani. And I'm just like, sis, when did she get that nickname? Where'd that come from? Nonetheless, basically, these two have been talking, and he sends her affirmations. So she sends him over prayers. I said, oh, so Fritz, you not copy and pasting? Or are you Googling the affirmations, of course, and, copying them and pasting them that way? Because, baby, that's not how you was acting with Sahara. Hell, if we want to be honest, Fritz should have never even got Sahara number, because he knew from the beginning that was not his type of woman. Just wasting that girl time. Anyways, he seems to be really into Shanice, though. Like, he's really into her. Like, we even see them kiss, and I'm like, oh, okay. Y'all barely know each other. Lips already touching. All right. I don't know if she did that just in case one of the other ladies was looking and she was trying to, let them know that this is her territory. But, at least Shanice's kiss landed, because there was someone who failed. We're going to get to that in a little bit, but first of all, let me talk about Angie real quick. Angie, you have got to stop thirsting after these men. I mean, it looked like you talked to Cam for 2 seconds, and you already whipping your phone out, talking about oh, you want to take down my number? Oh, I got my phone out. Let me go ahead and get your number. We can talk to each other, get on the phone. Let me get that number. And he like, girl, I am not about to give you my number. Put your phone away. Put your phone away, okay? I'm the hunter. Let me get your phone number. And I'm just like, shout out to Cam, okay? I thought I wasn't going to like you, but you cool, all right. You know what I'm saying? You all right so far. Yeah, but Angie, I want you to stop with the desperation. Please. Please stop. Moving on from there, we see Taya Cisco. They finally have a conversation. And basically she says that, she got scared by his situation, as you should be. You should be scared, because at this point you are 30-something years old. According to you, you've made it very far in your career, and you don't want to settle. Like, you don't want a guy who is making less than you. You don't want a guy who doesn't have his own place. He don't got a car. Like, I'm sorry, but only thing that Cisco can bring to the table right now is the D, and he can bring personality, and he can bring some dumbbells, and that's about all. That's all he got. And it's like, you will be, no offense, but trying to date potential. Are you willing to do that, Tay? I don't know. Like, there's something about Tay that I really like, and I feel like Cisco is not the guy for her. Like, I don't know. I want her to find somebody who is on her level more. But at the same time, y'all, this is what's so weird about this whole situation. I don't mind him being with Shanice. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Because technically Shanice has more to lose if she dating a dude who's like, not exactly in the right financial spot. However, according to Shanice, she got all these businesses, all this stuff going on. And I'm just thinking in my head, okay, well, maybe this is something more of like a, what's the word I want to use? Like a Oprah and Stedman type thing. Nicki Minaj and her husband. Follow me here. A lot of times women who have a lot of power, who have a lot of money, a lot of resources, they tend to date men not so much for their occupation and for the finances, but they date them because of their loyalty. They can trust them. They have other qualities that works for them and what their lifestyle needs. And I feel like Cisco can possibly be that for Shanice because she has so much going on and he can just be like that constant person for her. However, when it comes to Tay, I know this sounds crazy, but I want her with somebody who's more financially secure. I know that was probably the weirdest take y'all probably have heard, but I don't know what it is. Like, it doesn't seem like Cisco is a bad guy. Like I said, I just wish that maybe he should have tried out for season 2 of Philly once he got his stuff together. But yeah, just don't want him with Tay, maybe Shanice. Don't judge me. Oh, but back to the situation at hand. Tay basically says that she still got to think about where she stands with him at this point. I'm like, girl, move on. Find another guy. But moving on from there, we actually have Rocky, Fritz, and Cam. Really, Cam didn't say too much. They're sitting down talking. Fritz, now, sir, you messed up, okay? Because you brought up the whole Polly thing. You was over trying to crack a joke, and it backfired on your ass. Rocky, she's already gotten all the tea from Coley about how he's into this poly life thing. And of course they have the whole poly conversation. And what does he do? Deny everything. Deny. He swears that's not who he is. Okay, sir. Whatever. Moving on from there. Now this is where you get curved. Child, you got Coley, baby. She has been on Eddie's arm since they got there, okay? Miss Mamas is thirsty. And I feel like she is back to being ditzy Coley. Like, she was ditzy this whole time. So then that made me realize when Coley drinks, she gets ditzy and thinks that shit is cute. Okay? Because I'm pretty sure that she was definitely a little bit tipsy when they were at that mixer and she was asking all them dumbass questions. So I feel like when she drinks, she gets real ditzy. And next thing you know, like, she all up in Eddie's face or whatever. And Sahara is like showing Angie like, oh, yo, ain't that your dude over there? And she feels some type of way because Eddie is booed up with another woman. She's like, I kind of feel like that's a little inappropriate, disrespectful, or whatever. And I'm just like, that's not your man. Somebody please tell Angie. Put it on a billboard. Put it in neon lights. That's not your man. He can do whatever he wants to do. Like, how about, this is what I want these people to do. Start being bold, okay? When you saw him over there with that girl, if you really want to talk to him and be around him and be like, oh my gosh, can I pull him away for a second? Because I feel like can't nobody say nothing, because at the end of the day, everybody dating everybody. Same thing with Cam. When he saw Sahara, he should have walked his ass over there and been like, oh, y'all laughing a lot, but can I pull her away for a second? So that way you can get some time with that person. So, moving on from that though, at this point, I think Coley peeped game. I think that Coley saw Angie, and she already know that Angie like Eddie. So she was like, oh, I'm about to try to seal the deal in front of this girl face. Because she over here trying to kiss Eddie. Eddie like, nah, I'm not about to kiss you, like you tripping. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, are you scared to kiss me? Or whatever. Again, he not trying to kiss her. So she gets up, she's pissed off, and she walks away because he didn't kiss her. And I'm just like, well, Coley, listen, first of all, you probably got all that liquor on your breath. Secondly, I feel like you try to play in those other girls' faces to be like, oh, look, we're locked in. And he like, no, we not. We're not exactly locked in like that. So I respect Eddie for not trying to, kiss that girl, because then it would have been a whole thing if Eddie would have kissed her. But yeah, Coley, it just wasn't a good look. And also, please stop being ditzy. Let's go ahead and move on though. Tommy comes back out and they start to play this game where the ladies have to guess what guy said what quote, okay? The first one was Naeem. He had sex at a funeral home because he used to work at one. And, child, whatever. Then the next one was what guy said that he had sex on a beach that was full of a bunch of people. And if I'm not mistaken, Tommy said something like, oh, the guy's a world traveler. Everybody thought it was Fritz. Nope, it was not him. It was actually Cisco. Eddie, I think the thing that they read about him was like, oh, he likes to express his love through thoughtful gifts and words of affirmation or something like that. And I'm just like, okay, his is the only one that wasn't really sexual, if I'm not mistaken. Because I just never thought that we would hear Tommy say that. Like, never in my life of watching this show did I think that Tommy would be reading a card that talks about ass eating. Like, what are we doing here? But Khalil, I can absolutely see that for you. You can take with that however you want to take it, but I can absolutely see that for you. So then we get Cam. He basically said that he will only wait 1 month for sex. Okay, cool, whatever. So the first person to win is Angie, and the second person to win is Sahara, right? Only 2 winners. We get to these dates because the prize was if you win, you get to choose a guy to go on a date with, right? First of all, why is Sahara going to a nail salon for the date? We couldn't have no fun stuff for them to do. Ain't nothing to do in Philly but just go get your nails done. What's happening here? So the next person who walks up is Fritz. I said, why is he here? But here's the thing. According to her, she says that his time is up because he's disingenuous. And I'm like, well, girl, why'd you waste your date? Like, it don't make sense for you to waste a date on Fritz. So they at the nail salon, right? And again, I just realized they hella cheap when it comes to the production on this show. I'm like, y'all don't have no cute places for these people to go, I guess. Now, these two are having a conversation where Sahara wants to know what he's looking for in a woman. And then she goes even further to be like, what type of relationship are you looking for? Like, are you just looking for one woman? Are you looking for more? Because again, at this point, she has heard about the poly situation. Here's the thing. He's adamant about how he's never going to do a poly relationship. Do I believe him? No. But we just gonna let him rock. Here's the thing. I understand Sahara is not a lot of people cup of tea. But when I tell y'all I laughed so hard when she told that man, it's okay if you want to be polyester because, I mean, I'm not wearing it. I laughed so hard because at the end of the day, like, the way she set that joke up was perfect. Like, perfect. If you want to be poly, you can go ahead and do that, but that's just not my cup of tea, okay? So, after that, Sahara ends up asking him about his connections or whatever. And this man basically told on himself saying, in the beginning, I was playing. I know other people came in with other intentions, but I came in here playing. And I'm just like, sir, I see what you did here. You admitted that to her because you just knew for sure that you was going to send her ass home. And this information wasn't going to get around to everybody else. But, sir, the same way that poly situation got around, this is going to get around as well. Okay? I'm pretty sure of it. So, he then goes on to talk about how... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Sahara called him out and was like, yeah, I've been peep game on who you were and your intentions, okay? Because he keeps copy and pasting. Baby, this was not a date, okay? This was not a date at all. This was just Sahara letting this man know that she saw him for who he was and she knows the type of man that he is, okay? Now, listen, you may talk about how Sahara is ghetto and she hood and she this, that, another, but at the same time, like, listen, at least she call him how she see him. You know what I'm saying? She ain't out here being fake and phony. But let's go ahead and move on to Angie's date because she chooses to go on a date with Hussein, right? They go to like this little sound bath meditation place. And I'm like, okay, cool. After this is done, they have some small talk or whatever. And she's like, oh, I have a gift for you, right? She whips out this little thing in her pocket and it's a keychain. Did y'all catch that she said, oh yeah, I got you this because I gave my son this as well? What the fuck are we watching, y'all? When did she get a son? When did Angie have a child? This whole time, she's been talking about how I want to have a bunch of kids. As many kids as my man want to have, baby. I want to have them babies. You've been saying all that. And I know I did not mishear this because I ran the shit back and played it again. Angie said, yeah, I got one of these for my son too. I'm confused. Where her child at? Like, now I got a bunch of questions. Every time we talk to Angie, we find out a little bit more information. And I'm just like, girl, we could have learned this on the first episode. We learned that you got, that you have been married before, even though you made it seem like you were only engaged to a man who passed away, but y'all was only engaged. Now you done came up with a whole child. What is going on? So, nonetheless, he appreciates the gift. All right, cool. Now, we get to the lounge, or should I say the vault. And here's the thing. The guys go around and say who they're feeling. Yeah. Nobody mentioned Coley or Rocky. So for me, both of those women should have been on the bottom automatically. However, when it comes down to who they did not like, Sahara's name was all in the mix, okay? Here's the thing. Fritz, he was absolutely trying to tell anybody who will listen that we need to get Sahara out of here, okay? He was telling all the other guys, Sahara, put her in the bottom. He was absolutely doing that. Now, here's the thing, though. I do kind of feel like Cam was the only one, him and Cisco, but it was mostly Cam, that stuck up for her in that situation. Okay? Like, you cannot come up in here and just try to convince everybody to be on your side to get a woman out of here, even though she's making a connection with somebody. But I honestly feel like there's a broader conversation that needs to be had right now, because here's my thing. If someone is feeling somebody else, whether that be a woman or a guy, okay? If they're feeling somebody and they're making a connection, I feel like that is not a group decision to say, oh, that person needs to go home because I don't like them. No, that person is not your person. And that's absolutely fine, because everybody doesn't have to date everybody. Okay? You're going to gravitate to who you want to be with, possibly. And that's cool. But I don't think that you should be making the deciding factor of, because we don't like her, she needs to go home, even though she's making a connection with somebody else. I feel like if that's the case, the deciding factor needs to be the person who's making the connection with that person. I feel like that is when Tommy should step in and say, hey, I know that the other guys may not like this woman. However, you do have a connection with her. So, is this a connection that you want to move forward with? Or is this a connection that you're willing to let go of? That's what needs to be happening. But clearly, that's not how this show goes. Okay? So, after that, of course, Fritz was denying that he was doing it, even though we all knew that he was. We could literally see it. And it bothered me that Tommy didn't say nothing. The only thing Tommy said was, well, I mean, everybody's on their own journey. I'm like, Tommy, really? That's all you have to say? Okay, whatever. So, my whole thing is that Rocky and Coley have no connections, okay? None. When it came down to who the guys did not like, I feel like that was the time for Eddie to say, you know what? Me and Coley, we didn't really hit it off too well, and I just don't feel like that's my person at this point, so I'm going to put her in the bottom. That is how these conversations need to be going. But that's not what's happening. Nonetheless, so after this, we realize that Tommy is about to throw a curveball, okay? Tommy says that, you know what? We're going to do a double elimination. So there's going to be 3 women in the bottom, okay? Now, of course, that means we have Rocky, Coley, and Sahara. We see Rocky go out with Jay. Sahara went out with Cam. And I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. So now y'all think that Cam is the only one who could talk to this lady? She's that difficult? Wow. And then Coley, I can't remember who went out with Coley. I lied. It was Eddie. That's who it was. It was Eddie. Now, when Sahara saw Cam, what was interesting is that she had already heard that he was defending her in the lounge or the vault, whatever. I'm just like, so y'all been pillow talking? Who's been talking to her about what Cam was doing? It's crazy because everybody swear they don't like this girl, but somebody picked up her phone calls. Now, here's the thing. We did not find out who was going home, but to me, it seems like it's going to be Coley and Rocky, because Cam was going pretty hard for Sahara in the lounge. But y'all, that is where the episode ends. Next week looks like it's about to be interesting. Shawnee's out here showing her body yaddy yaddy to Francisco, and Tay ain't gonna like it. We gonna see what's going down. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And let's talk about this show down in the comments for real. I'll talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.